So yeah. But then you want to transition to getting older.
So as I got older, we did have to as I got older, I saw that I could go. Shout out to my grandmother. Hey Ma, you the best. She was definitely more on the lenient side, so I saw that I could do more when I went to my grandmother's house. Mm-hmm. My grandmother loves me, and I love her, okay? And so, even when I get in trouble, she'll have my back. Like, don't do that to her. I be like, yeah, Mom, tell her. Tell her what it is, because she don't even know. Like, she don't need to be disciplining me like this. But anyways, I started to go over to my grandmother's house more and spend the weekends, and this is more towards, I would do it all my high school years, I was over my grandma's house every weekend. But towards my senior year, it was more consistent. And so it got to a point where my mama was like, what you doing? Mm-hmm.
This is
you either here or there. Mm-hmm. And so you made me decide. Mm-hmm. And I gladly chose to be with my grandmother.
So that was a transition for Chyna and I. So what she's saying is, I started to notice that she was spending a lot more time at her grandmother's house, which I didn't mind, but I did mind the kind of coming and going as she pleased. I think when she was a senior, she started feeling like she could just kind of go and stay
I was feeling grown.
A little longer than she could, or just kind of tell me that she was going to be over there as opposed to asking me if she could stay over to her grandmother's. Now, mind you, I didn't have any problem with her spending time with her grandmother, but I just started to see Chyna was forgetting her role as a daughter. And that was, you don't make decisions without me giving you the yes or the no. Mm-hmm. You can ask me, but you can't tell me what you're doing. That's just how it was in my home. It wasn't a question about that.
And I feel like if I'm at my grandma's house, I can ask my grandma.
No.
What am I, if I'm under her home?
Nope.
What am I asking you for?
And so grandparents do not override parents. That's a rule. Grandparents do not override. They may want to. They may feel like they have that authority. And at this point, she was visiting them. And because she was visiting them, her rule was still at home. She was just given the opportunity to stay at her grandmother's, just like she would a friend's. You go to a friend's house. They are not the rule. They are the chance for you to get away from home, to have some time over there. But even with them, I would think, would call home and ask for permission to make a decision on what was getting ready to happen within my daughter's life. Yeah, well, that's how I roll. I don't know about y'all, but that's how I roll. So anyway, she was over to her grandmother's house so consistently. I just sat her down and said, hey, you got to make a choice. You need to decide where you're going to be. You have option to stay home, but you're not going over there when you get ready, or you can go live with your grandmother. That's all we said. And what happened?
I chose to be with my grandmother. Mm-hmm. And so my senior year, I was with her. I began to have more freedom. I began to do as I pleased. I had a car. Mm-hmm. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was growing in my mind. Hey.
You had a TV?
I had a TV in my room.
You had cable.
It was a new world. It was
no cable at home.
It was new exposure. Mm-hmm. I'll say that. And so I just felt like it was a step. I loved home. Don't get me wrong, but it was just new. And I will say, me and my mom, we're different, but we alike in some ways too. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like we would clash in that aspect, and I be needing space. You know what I'm saying?
What was space for you?
Going somewhere else. Totally different.
Mine was just going to my room.
No, I need a whole nother house. I just need to go away. Especially because I was still in that time. I feel like I'd opened up more a little bit, but I was still, don't talk to me. So it definitely, once I got that freedom and wasn't under her rule anymore, I feel like I could be more open to her and have more conversation. And it still took a little minute, but it was a gradual process of like, okay, cool, like I don't gotta listen to you no more.
That's how you felt.
Pretty much. That's what it was.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. Once you made the decision to move out, I completely had the mindset of, once you move out of my home, you don't have my rules anymore.
Yeah.
So again, you're not coming home. You're not having to do these things that I require and so on and so forth. You now have the authority to do whatever you like. And so that meant everything. I'm not providing for you anymore. Like, this was my mindset. Once you move out, you are no longer under my rule. You are not under my blessings or anything. You take everything that you brought or have here that I'm giving you and go on over there to where you are, and you allow them to run your home or run you or your thoughts and your processes, whatever. And I totally release you from that.
That was music to my ears.
Yeah, that's how she felt. That's how she felt. And I'm going to say, for me, I have felt like I had done the work. I felt like I had poured into Chyna. I felt like I had given her Christ. I felt like she understood consequences of sin.
For sure.
I felt she understood how much I loved her, how much I valued her, and how important she was to me. But at the same time, my mindset also was this: once you decide that you're moving out, that's it. I will love you from a distance, but go on and do your thing.
Yeah.
Now, is that what it was? Is that what happened?
For sure. And I definitely felt the love from a distance. It was from a distance. We talked, but it still wasn't.
Right. It was a process.
Yeah.
Well, tell me what that felt like, because you're getting emotional.
Just looking back and seeing how we are now, it's just drastic.
Yeah.
It's a drastic change. I wasn't having those conversations. We didn't talk as much. Now we talk every day. And it would just be like, some days I'd be like, am I calling my mama today? Like,
yeah, because I would have to say, are you gonna call me?
no, for sure. But she would have them times like, I ain't talked to my daughter. Like, why haven't I talked to my daughter?
Right.
And so,
because you were feeling what? What was going through your mind at that time?
I don't necessarily know if I was feeling anything towards you. I was just in a place where I really just wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the world was mine, and couldn't nobody tell me nothing. And I was just in a place of, and it's so crazy because even in that time, I was still struggling with my relationship with God, and like knowing that I wanted that, but still wanting to live and be free and do whatever I wanted to do. And you still have freedom. You have more freedom with God. But in my mind, at the time, I felt like the things of the world was the freedom that I wanted. And to just be able to be out and have fun and be with my friends and not have any type of discipline or consequence. So I was just out there, but it was still very hard for me, but I was stuck in, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And that was just a crazy time.
Yeah. And that was what you felt during that time was valuable, what was important to you. You
For
felt like
sure.
you needed to have that experience, and you felt that somewhat because you felt I had been so restricted.
Yeah.
Restrictive.
So it was just like, I'm free from jail. I'm gonna do everything I didn't get to do. I'm running wild. Can't nobody stop me. Which was not good. But I did it. I mean, and I will say we had fun. Like, I did have a good time. Me and my friends were crazy. You know, we'll just run the town. But yeah, I do not desire that life anymore.
This feels like a good time to sing the song that's been laid upon my heart.
Oh, gosh.
And it goes a little something like this. Revelation, Revelation 21:8, 21:8. Liars go to hell, liars go to hell. Burn, 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 burn.
We get it. We get it.
I felt like that was the appropriate time for my song. My sister Vanity, she taught that to me just, a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, so you go through this process.
Yeah.
You move in with your grandmother. You start to feel free. And you get the opportunity to have freedom with no rent. Because that was the other thing.
And that is such a blessing, guys. Now that I live in a home and I pay rent. If only.
Yeah, you take for granted all those kindnesses and blessings.
You take for granted? Mm-hmm. I was like, what could I be doing with this rent money? Like, if I just saved this much every month, oh my goodness. Like, I would be balling right now. 2 years of rent? Where does the money go?
Yeah, and I used to try to tell you guys that when you were home. I always talked about it. I said, there's going to be a time where you're going to look back and you will be grateful when you realize all of the things you don't have to pay for or the things you don't have to manage in life or be responsible for. But you don't ever get that, though, until you become
having freedom, though, is very luxurious. It is. Like, I don't take that for granted either. I love to be by myself. I'm still an introvert. I can be extroverted, but in my heart, deep down, don't talk to me. I can have a whole day of not talking to nobody, not going outside, watching a show, chilling, all that.
She likes being
just
by herself.
By myself. Yeah. I am so fine by myself.
Yeah.
All the time.
And see, I'm just the opposite. I'm the opposite. I am surged by people. Now, again, I don't have to have people all day, but when people are around me, like I'm kind of quiet at home most of the time when I'm by myself. But when I am around a group of people or of 2 or more, you can pretty much say that they have injected me with energy because I just thrive when I'm around people. It's something about that. Just having that connection and fellowship. But okay, so let's stay on task.
I feel more in that realm now. Like I can be when I go out and like be around people, I get more energy with like people I really love. Like I've appreciated that more. Yeah. I really do enjoy community. But I feel at home too, I get that surge. Like I be around here dancing, listening to music. Like I will dance like nobody's watching. Having a whole concert.
Nobody is watching.
Nobody's here. It's the freedom to go crazy, walk around, dancing, singing to the highest of my lungs. Sorry to my neighbors, because y'all hear me. I will have a whole concert.
Oh, my Lord.
It's freedom.
Well, that's so wonderful. So speaking of freedom.
Yeah.
You are now living with your grandmother. And we're talking more. I do see that and I do feel that. Yeah. But I also feel there's a process of walls were still up for a process. So I was still trying to figure out how to help assist that process of those walls coming down. Yeah. So I remember taking some time and because I remember when you moved out too, you started to share more about some of your friendships that you had and some different things that were going on in your life. And I remember thinking that there was some people pleasing happening. And there were some thoughts that you had that I felt like you were being a little passive about. And so I started going to the Lord on your behalf and asking the Lord to give me wisdom on how to communicate with you about that or how I could assist you in that process. You and Chris wasn't a people pleaser, but I felt like because he was getting older, he was going to be transitioning his own self. So I started praying for the both of you that God would just give me wisdom in how to assist you guys in that process. And so I'll never forget, I was spending time with the Lord and I clearly heard him say to start a Bible study for you, especially, and with your friends. Yeah. And I remember saying to myself, okay, Lord, what is this going to look like? How do I go about doing it? And I heard clearly 6 weeks. Do it for 6 weeks. And I came to you with that idea. Yeah. And I remember sharing with you, I never told you that the Lord told me to have the Bible study for you at that point. Mm-hmm. I just, hey, Chyna, I believe we should start a Bible study, with you and your friends. How are you feeling about that? Do you remember your response?
Not necessarily, but I do remember being happy about it and really wanting to do it because I was longing to have a deeper relationship with God and didn't know how I could do that. So I feel like I was very happy about it. I didn't.
That's true.
Yeah.
You were. Yeah. And I don't remember exactly what you said specifically. I just remember the emotion was you were happy about it. For sure. You were very happy about it. And I believe the Lord wanted me to include your friends because they were having a lot of influence on you at the time. And I felt like they needed to be impacted also in what God was doing, not just in your life, but, that the Lord could impact them with being able to discuss some things and share. Yeah. So do you remember what that Bible study looked like or how it felt to you?
For sure. I will say it was very freeing. We were able to be vulnerable and to see my friends be vulnerable. And just to be in that environment and to just be open to talk about the things that you usually don't get to talk about, like your mental health and just things that you deal with daily. And just hearing it from your peers too, it was different. It was really freeing, and for her to just give her perspective on the things that we were dealing with and talk wisdom into us and guidance. And it was very healing and therapeutic for me because I didn't have that, being that I wasn't a communicator. Even with my friends, I was very surface. Like, you would think I would be open, but honestly, I was the listener. I was the one that didn't, I was your best friend, but you didn't know nothing about me intentionally. Like, I could be there for you, but you weren't going to know anything that I had going on. And so,
she get that from her mama.
Yeah. I was just able to really blossom in that space and expose things that I dealt with that I didn't even know had affected me in such a way. And so to be free from those things and to talk about things I'd never talked about before really was
amen,
very healing.
Yeah.
And something I will never forget. So thank you.
You're welcome.
For being obedient and hearing God clearly and having the relationship that you have with him so that you can hear him and Amen. Know when he's talking to you and to act on it. Yeah. And it definitely freed me.
Well, the thing about having a Bible study, I can say to parents, the effectiveness is being willing to hear from the Lord, yes. And, I always say I can ask the right questions, but the participants have to be willing to be honest and transparent. And, my motto is put your mind on the truth. Yeah. Keep your mind on the truth in the process. So as long as they were willing to keep their minds on the truth when they were communicating back to me, they would tell it. Yeah. When you focus on what that honesty is, it's hard for you to find that lie because your mind is focused on the truth. So parents, remember that even as well when you're talking to your children. Have them to focus on the truth because that's where they will stay and that's where they will communicate from. And I wanted Chyna to be free, but not just her friends as well. I believe the Lord was allowing this to happen because young people don't get an opportunity to really share amongst their peers sometimes. What adult usually sits their friends down and gives them an opportunity to be transparent and honest and really deal with serious matters of the heart or things that they may have hidden for years. But you have to create a safe space. And that's what I did. I tried to be as transparent, even with my past and things that had happened to me, to open those doors for them to feel free and know that I was willing to listen. You know, I wasn't about trying to judge anything per se, in the sense of you shouldn't be doing that, or no, we can't talk about that. This was a safe environment for them to say whatever they wanted to say. And my mindset was healing. That I wanted them to be healed, that I wanted their heart to be unburdened, because I felt like they were holding on to things that they hadn't been able to share. And so I believe that's what happened with Chyna. You know, I believe not just Chyna, but a few of the other young ladies had that same experience.
Yeah, and I will say, being that they were so vulnerable with her, it made me feel like I could be vulnerable with you, because it's different. Like, say, being that you weren't their mother, it's easier, opposed to them talking to their mom. So I felt
that's good. That's good, Chyna. You watching them talk to me, allowed you to be freer.
Yes, allowed me to be comfortable in having those conversations and talking to you. So that definitely helped, being that the friends were there. And I will even say it has grown my relationship with those friends. I'll say good. Tyra in particular.
Hey, Tyra.
Hey, Tyra. We can just be straight up with each other and real, and talk about the things that a lot of people you can't talk with about. And Carrington came too. That's my bestie. And we talk about everything. Her and L'Oreal. I don't think L'Oreal came.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't in town, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think she was at school at the time. But it definitely, all around, just made all of us be more open with each other and make it okay to talk and to really have those conversations, because it's not normalized. People do not talk about their feelings, or everything is so surface. And now it's so funny. I was just talking to somebody the other day.
Let's get a shout out to the neighbor.
Shout out, hey neighbor.
Yeah, the noise upstairs.
That's the only problem with this apartment. You hear every single step. She gonna be stepping too. She work from home just like I do. So we be here together.
Okay, back to the friends.
Okay. Hey neighbor. What was I saying?
You were talking about being able to have these conversations now that y'all have gone through this process.
I know, but I went somewhere else with it.
You were saying you were so grateful that that's where you all are now. You want to say anything about L'Oreal and Carrington or Tyra? I'm sorry.
Hey, y'all. I know I said hey, but I don't know where I went.
Okay. Well,
I was really about to say something.
We'll transition to where we are.
It was a great thought.
Sorry. Ask the Lord to bring it back.
Jesus.
Let's see if he does.
Jesus.
Okay. So you called on the Lord a couple times, so he's here.
I don't know.
But I will say, going through that process for me with you, I believe those were the walls that I felt were up, and that I believe they were brought down.
For sure.
And from that point on, it definitely, we just built a relationship on that. We already had one.
Yeah.
But I wanted her to feel free. I've always wanted her to feel free to talk to me. But you know, in that Bible study, I also saw she wasn't going to be able to talk to me until she was set free, until she got all those things out that she had been holding in. Mm-hmm. And so that was going to be her process and her path. And a lot of times with parents, we see things, but we don't really take the time to dig and go deeper and find out what's really going on with our children. And a lot of times it may cause for counseling or therapy or things like that. But the Lord just allowed me to be used during that process, but it may have come from someone else if she just would have had that time to really just be, again, transparent and honest. She said, again, she was able to be honest with me because she saw her friends. That kind of gave her the freedom to watch them shed their honesty, and then she felt free about it.
I remember.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Lord.
So basically, it was saying I was saying I can't have like small talk. Now every time I talk, I want to go deep. I don't want to small talk. How's your soul? How are you feeling on the inside? Are you okay mentally? Are you here? Are you dealing with anything? Like, I don't know how to have small talk. I hate small talk now. Like, it's just like, what are we talking about? Like, am I finna know your life? Are we finna know each other's lives or what?
That's
like,
good, Chyna.
Are we finna be real with each other? Or are you finna be surface? And I feel like
that's so good.
that has grown a lot of my, even like with my clients and stuff. Like, we be going deep.
That's good.
With my clients, like, we
come
just
on,
be
therapist. Come on, counselor.
I don't know about all that.
Okay.
But we just be having conversation. And that was not me at first. I didn't want to do that. Like, I would be like, why are we talking? Bye. I don't want to talk. But now it's like, if I am talking, we talking. Like, it's not, hey, how you doing? Good. Okay, bye then. Yeah.
You want serious conversation.
Yeah, let's go deep.
That's good, Chyna. I'm so proud of that.
Thanks.
Look at you.
And shout out to you, because you are a very deep person. You can
Gracias.
be surface, but you gonna go deep. Unintentionally. Just be like, how did we even get here? Like, why are we talking about this again? Like, where did this go? That fast. Okay. Cool. But yeah.
That blesses me so much, so Chyna.
Good.
And I will say that is one of the things I always say. I will ask the questions. All I need is for you to be transparent.
Yeah.
And so as long as you're willing to be that, we will go deep.
Yeah.
I am one of those people that I am very intentional about going deep into relationships, getting to know people. Now, I can't take a whole bunch of details. I'm good for about a good 15 minutes.
Then you lose your attention span.
But then that attention span button clicks on, then it's like, do you know where you're going to?
That's
do
so
you
dumb.
Like the things that life is showing you?
That is so dumb.
There you go. I'm sorry. But
I love it.
That's it.
I'm kind of the same. I feel like I am too. Like, once you start just running and rambling, I'm like, all right, where are we going with this? Did you find closure? Where did you learn from this? Like, are you moving forward? Where is the end conclusion?
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
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 So how would you say we are now?
I would say we're definitely the closest we've ever been. The best of friends. We talk about literally everything.
Yep.
We can go into depth about everything.
Yep.
And even when we don't want to talk, it'd be like, all right, hey, just calling to say, hey, body it. You don't gotta be alone.
That's very true. Very true.
You know?
But we know each other like that.
For
so.
sure. I feel like we've grown to really, really know each other really well. And I can tell I'm not a person. I was about to lie. I was about to say I'm not a person that really have bad days, but I do have days where it just be like straight attitude. But she had them days too. So I'd be like, are you okay?
Same here.
Are you good?
Same
okay,
here.
well, I'm gonna let you do that. And I'm gonna stay over here. Get well. And she do the same thing.
Not get well. I mean, get well. Body in. Just don't care about how I'm feeling.
No,
I'm
but
playing.
sometimes I ask, like, are you okay? What's going on? I'm trying to figure out. But like sometimes it's just not her day.
Yeah.
She just don't be feeling it.
Yeah.
And I be like, all
That's
right,
true.
well.
That's true. It depends on what's going on in my life.
But how do you feel?
I mean, I feel very close to you. I'm very grateful for the relationship that we have now. And, even doing this podcast with you is such a blessing because we are very honest. We're very open. We're very transparent. It's not anything that I feel I have to hide from her. I am an open book.
Yeah.
And I believe she is with me. I believe over time, she has grown to the place to be as free as she is now, which I'm so grateful for. I'm grateful to the Lord for that.
Thank you, Jesus.
And, you all my bestie and stuff.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
You're good and your bad.
Gotta
love you through your good. I love you through your bad.
We're singing two different songs.
Oh. Okay, then. So what are you okay with, Chyna?
I'm okay with the relationship that we have now. I think it has grown tremendously, and I feel like it'll continue to grow as we grow older and learn more things. We can experience, communicate our experiences and learn from each other. So yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I'm okay with parenting with Christ, with Him leading the way, and I'm okay with knowing that it is better to be a great parent than a good friend. Yeah, that's what I'm okay with. And I love you.
I love you.
And I'm proud of you.
I will say, though, I feel like I'll just say this. I pray about having kids all the time because I be contemplating, like, do I want kids? Do I not? I don't know. I don't know if that's for my life. I don't know if that's for my purpose. But if I were, I kind of struggle with it. If I'm going to be a strict or be a more lenient, I feel like there's a balance in there. But they have told me that ain't no really black balance too much in it. So we going to pray about it. God help me.
Yeah, for me, it's black or white. There's no in between.
Well, anyways, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Make sure y'all comment, like, subscribe, share the post. Let us know how y'all grew up. Hey, neighbor, once again. She just be coming back like, girl, stay where you at. Where are you walking to? But yeah, let us know. Were y'all parents strict? Were they more lenient? Were they letting y'all do whatever? All that. Will y'all be strict parents?
Yeah.
Are y'all strict parents?
All that.
I don't like y'all if y'all are.
Anyway, make sure y'all follow each Wednesday at 9 a.m. You can get us on YouTube. So set your timers so you can watch us.
Spotify.
Spotify.
And Apple Podcasts.
And Anchor.
Spotify is Anchor.
Same thing. Okay. But just make sure you watch on Wednesdays on the YouTube.
At the 9 a.m.
I did say YouTube.
Did I say subscribe? I said subscribe.
I said YouTube.
Subscribe.
I said YouTube.
That ain't a thing.
Okay.
Okay then.
Okay then.
Okay then. Bye.
Bye then.